Hi, I'm Cashier King, and welcome to the Sports Goombahs present Fantasy Football Wednesday. Fantasy Football Wednesday is brought to you by Castle Public Adjusters. Give them a call, 215-752-1237. Get your edge on your insurance claim. Castle Public Adjusters, 215-752-1237, or check them out at www.castlepa.com. Now, here's our host, Mikey the Wall.
Thank you very much for that very retro introduction. I forgot we had that song. I actually like the old one. I like the one. I don't know what happened to it.
You like that one better?
No, this one's awful. I'm gonna be honest. That one's absolutely awful. It sounds like it would be something like if you got a new job and it showed you some old instructional training video.
Yeah,
like I'd be playing over with motivational quotes. That's what it sounds like. It sounds awful, but
your show, you picked the tune.
That's fine. It's fine. Yeah, you pick my tunes, we'll end up they'll cut us off the air. They always do that.
Listen, the way you've been putting out players, you do whatever you want at this point.
Yeah.
Because, quite frankly, if you're not watching the show and you're in a fantasy league, especially hitting the playoffs, and you're not paying attention to what Mikey puts out every week, you're out of your mind. Because there's no surprises we're here with him. He tells you what it is. It's been happening. And it's been happening for 12 weeks now, pretty much?
Yeah. I mean, not everybody. There's a pick here and there where I completely whiff on, a.k.a. last week's bust of the week receiver. But I made a mistake. I know I'll obviously get to it later, but I picked Golden Tate. I forgot the fact that he was playing the Eagles. So I didn't realize the Eagles defense completely quit. So I did miss that bust. But I usually hit them, as you can see with the rest of my picks, which you'll get a recap of last week, also the new ones. And, of course, you're watching live, sgshow.net. You can tune in every Wednesday, 8 p.m. And also tune in every Monday, 9 p.m. for the weekly show, the sports weekly wrap-up. Sports and more, really, to be honest. A lot of Cash's Love Life. So if you're interested in that,
it's a new segment.
If you're interested in that, that is the show for you. But let's get to it here. We're done with the buys. Obviously, last week was the first week where there's no buys, although we weren't really here, so I get to tell you that. I just had to post the rankings. But yeah, no more buys. So get your full strength. It should be full strength, although some guys are hurt, some big names are hurt, which obviously we'll get to it. But let's get right to the quarterbacks. My number one quarterback this week. And he doesn't I'll throw out the Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady. Obviously he's losing targets, he's losing weapons week by week. Every week he seems to lose another star guy, but he has the best remedy in the world. He's coming home to play the Eagles. You couldn't ask for anything better. I don't care who. You could give him, any D3 college talent at receiver, and I'm going to pick Tom Brady in this game.
And you think about it. You look at this game. You look at the line. In Vegas, we talked about that tonight, and you can tell that they don't think it's going to be a blowout.
I don't know where you found the line from, because the line was actually lower than you said it was.
It was 13.5 last time I looked at it.
It's 10.
10. Well, I even dropped in.
I saw 10 that same night.
That's even more proof of what.
Or no, the next day. I checked on Tuesday morning. It was 10.
That's unbelievable.
I even saw 9.5 some places.
Wow.
So
it's anyway.
For those Vegas insiders, it's an Eagles line, but it's not. They're gonna get absolutely blown out, and Tom's gonna do all the damage.
I don't know, but I do know that they're the two smartest guys in football, so they'll figure something out.
Who, me and Tom Brady?
Yeah,
because that's what it looks like. Yeah, Brady's gonna absolutely destroy the Eagles and shred. If you think that Jameis Winston, Matt Stafford, if they can go off on them, then anybody can go off on the Eagles.
Yeah, but like I told you in the show, and I understand what you're saying, but when you have a coach that has a rapport with Chip Kelly, like Belichick does, there's a way to pull the plug on some of this stuff. When you're up by 21 points in the fourth quarter.
Happen. You obviously never watched Bill Belichick coach a football game, because he literally never lets up, ever.
Okay. Monday we'll talk about it.
All right. My number 2 quarterback this week is the undefeated, the perfect Cam Newton. Because he's going to probably rush for a touchdown. He does it literally every week, as annoying as it is for Jonathan Stewart owners. It's good for Cam Newton owners, of course, although I think he's going to throw a lot as well, because he plays at New Orleans. So you play a weak defense in a dome, 2 for 2. I'm going to go with Cam as my number 2 quarterback this week. Highest I think I ever had him. Number 3, he's going to play. I know he's always banged up now, but Big Ben. He's playing at home against Indy. I actually wish he was playing at Indy. I'd rather get him in a dome, but being at home against a team, yes, they do need to win. Indy needs a win. I just don't think Indy's as good. And Ben Roethlisberger is so dangerous when he plays. It's like you can guarantee 350 yards easy every time Big Ben plays. Even when he's not playing a full game, maybe he comes off the bench, he throws for 375. Breaks records.
He's the toughest guy in football.
Yeah,
By far. I mean, you can see.
I know we said it before, and he got hurt the very next day, but he just got hurt. He literally got hurt, and we're saying, okay, he's going to miss a month. He played the very next week.
Yeah.
That's Big Ben. So as long as he has his targets, he'll be good. Number 4, Aaron Rodgers. A little retribution against Detroit. I think he has not played well. But I do the fact that he goes into a dome to play a team that just beat him. And a team that upset him pretty good. That obviously we're not supposed to lose that game. So I think Aaron's going to come back, have a solid game. If he doesn't have a good game here, then I'm giving him Peyton Manning status after this week. I'm putting him down in that 10, 11, 12 range. Hasn't been pretty, so I think this is his chance. He's got to do it.
Maybe he just can't do it without weapons. Maybe he needs weapons.
Yeah, we've seen that he does need weapons.
Yeah.
He's not a guy who can make his own weapons. I mean, he can obviously survive. He's having a good season as a team. He can survive without the weapons, but he's not going to be that clear cut, by far number 1, 2 quarterback, 3, 3 at worst. But also, by the way, this is for most people out there. This should be. I'm going to say this should be the last week of the regular season. If you're in a league that's not wrapping up this week, you got a weird league, and you're probably going to week 17. And for that, I apologize. And you should probably get in a different league with a new commissioner because no league should be going to week 17. In fact, I probably won't even have a week 17 show. I'm not, because if you're having a league that's going to week 17, your league sucks.
Well, something I just noticed, the championship for my league, week 17.
So, yeah,
it wasn't supposed to be that way.
But again, this is clearly a league that is run by amateurs.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it though?
I don't know.
You've seen some of the guys in this league.
I don't know anybody.
You've seen some of these guys.
They're numbers to me, and I don't even know who these people are.
They're just team names on the screen.
The chef's on one of the teams.
But that's my point. The fact that you have a good team scares me. So that shows that this team is not.
My history says I always have a good team. So. And
you got a good database over here.
Yeah, right.
Number 5 quarterback this week, Andy Dalton at Cleveland. Again, he had another solid game last week, and he gets Cleveland, so that's a good matchup for him. I like Andy Dalton. Number 6, Carson Palmer. I mean, somehow this is the number 1 offense in football. I don't even know how it's possible. St. Louis is tough, but they're not as tough as they were a month and a half, 2 months ago. They're really kind of letting, just falling apart there in St. Louis. So Carson Palmer in a dome, I'll take that all day. Number 7, Matt Stafford. He gets Green Bay again. We already know. We know what he did his last game.
Got healthy.
We know his confidence can't be any higher than it is right now. So I do like Stafford in a dome against Green Bay. It's you can put points there. Number 8, Drew Brees, coming off his worst game in like 4 years. They broke his touchdown streak. Yep. I don't think it's going to happen, although he does play Carolina. Usually Brees is a top 5 guy for me. Carolina obviously is top 2, 3 defense in all of football. So it's going to be a tough matchup, but it's Brees in a dome, so I'm fine with that. He's more in the low right now than he'd usually be. Number 9, Eli Manning. This is a home game by for both teams pretty much. So by the way, I feel like it would suck to be the quote unquote home team in this game, because you really lose a home game. Because when you're the road team, it's still a home game too.
Yeah.
So the road team gets like 8 other home games, and they pretty much lose one. I think it's kind of unfair.
Both teams are contention too, so it's a big
it's unfair.
Game. Yeah.
I'm not complaining because it's the Giants losing a home game.
Yeah.
Because the Eagles are only 1 game back. Oh. Don't forget, the Eagles are only 1 game back.
After the dust settles this week, that's what we're going to hear. 1 game back.
We're going to keep hearing that they're 1 game back because they're all probably going to lose. But yeah, I like Eli Manning because obviously he has the best receiver in football, arguably. I mean, talent-wise, he might be the best. Number 10, I have Russell Wilson coming off a really good game, actually throwing the ball recently, last couple of weeks. He's not just running the ball.
Different offense over there.
But he does go at Minnesota. It's probably going to be cold, although he's used to the cold being in Seattle. But Minnesota's a tough place to play, and it's a really tough defense to play. I'm not in love with Wilson this year, but he has been better. I got to give him his credit there. Number 11, the handsome one, Brock Osweiler.
Yeah.
6'8", the Giant. He goes at San Diego, so the weather's going to be much nicer than it was last week. No snow to deal with, no Patriots to deal with. Just a crummy Chargers defense. So I like Osweiler this week. And wrapping it with number 12, somehow sneaking back up in my rankings, Jay Cutler. And that's obviously because when you're at home against San Francisco, that makes it happen. Yeah, you got a great receiver who's I guess he's healthy. I don't know. Is he day to day?
I don't see no red mark.
No letters, no Q's or
he's clean
Q's or D's or O's.
He's going to San Francisco and he's got no color, so that's
there you go. So I'll take against at home against the Niners, and the Bears have been really shadily good as of late. They haven't been awful. I mean, they put up a good fight against the Pack. Actually, they beat the Packers. Sorry. So I'll ride with color if you really need to. Sleeper pick of the week this week. I like Matt Hasselbeck. He's at Pittsburgh. If you look at the numbers, Pittsburgh's pass defense is like bottom 5 in football. So it is possible to put some points up on Pittsburgh. So I like Hasselbeck as a sleeper pick this week. Last week's sleeper, I went with Josh McCown, which started out fine. He had 15.7 points. Then he broke his collarbone. Austin Davis came in and threw a touchdown. Let's just say that was McCown's touchdown. You're looking at 25 to 30 points, which is a good sleeper quarterback. Sadly, McCown is not playing anymore. I love when McCown's quarterback for that team. Much better. I mean, I like Manziel. I do. I want him to get. I really do want to see him get a real chance.
He's done this week.
But McCown can throw the ball. I mean, obviously not anymore though. My bust quarterback of the week is Phil Rivers. Wow. He's dropping down I think at one point he was my number one quarterback. I think like we got like 6 or something like that. He actually had a better game, but he has no targets.
He had a 500-yard game.
Yeah, he did against Green Bay.
In a loss, laid there on the field and never really got up after that.
Pretty much, yeah. The team fell apart. They've got their first win in like a month and a half last week, but he gets Denver. I mean, Denver's defense, I don't think it's as unstoppable, or I guess they're not making people. They're stopping people, and they're not stopping people the way they were early in the year. It's still a top defense, so I don't like Rivers this week. Last week, my bust of the week completely nailed it. Said Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan put up 11.1 points, which is not good for a quarterback, and not good. I mean, the Falcons are dead. You said I actually put a tweet out on the Sports Goombahs page, which, by the way, you can tweet us. Any stardom 7 questions, any questions you have whatsoever, at Sports Goombahs on Twitter. I actually got somebody who tweeted right before the show started. He just sent me a screenshot of his team. He wasn't asking for opinions or like what to do. He just said rate my team. So maybe I'll get to that.
Send us a check.
I'll give him a rating. I mean, I do see, just looking at his team real quickly, I see DeAndre Hopkins. So that alone is enough for making me smile. Right. Obviously, Clemson, big game this week for me.
Clemson's happening.
So that's what I like. That's what I had quarterbacks this week. Waiver wire, nothing really to look at. I mean, we're at the point. Like I said, it's week 13. It's the last game of the year. If you're looking at the waiver wire for starting quarterback, you're probably not worrying about the playoffs. You're probably not in contention. So forget the waiver wire quarterbacks this week. There's nobody out there. Getting over to the running backs, going with number 1 D'Angelo Williams at home against Indianapolis. Sorry. I wasn't crazy about any of the running backs. I looked at the rankings and the guys who were playing who, and obviously Adrian Peterson's like a guy you'd always think of, but he's against Seattle, so I'm not huge crazy about that matchup. But D'Angelo Williams, Indy's not very good, and I think Williams gets enough touches, and just the bulk of it will get him number 1. Number 2, Doug Martin is completely back. He just ripped through another team after ripping through the Eagles the week before, so Martin's hot, and he gets a very unhot Atlanta team.
How long was he out for?
How long was he out for?
Yeah.
As in injured?
No, it's not the starter.
Doug Martin?
Yeah.
Well, he was injured like last year.
But he started to come back now.
Yeah, he started to come back. He was like getting back into it last year, but he was like, he wasn't getting all the carries. He was passed by like, oh my God, who was that one guy had him? I can't forget his name. Little tiny guy from like Western Kentucky. But yeah, he couldn't get in the field for a little bit. Then he had some other like run drafted guy from Miami. I'm drawing a blank on all the names because I think all of them are out of football. But he finally got the job back to himself, and he's looked phenomenal at least the last month. He's been unstoppable. So I'll take Doug Martin as my number 2. Number 3, Adrian Peterson against Seattle. Can't drop him too far. It's still Adrian Peterson. He kind of is good enough to where he's kind of like in that Tom Brady stratosphere where it doesn't matter who you play. I'm still going to put you as the top guy. Number 4, Jonathan Stewart. He gets vultured every end zone, every touch. He better score it from 10 yards out. But he gets to New Orleans, so it's a good chance he's going to score from 10 yards out. So a good chance he's going to score more than once probably. So I like Jonathan Stewart there at New Orleans. Number 5, I don't know, you're not going to like to hear this one, but Shady McCoy at home against Houston.
He's a player now. He's
playing again.
Houston's tough.
Houston is tough. This isn't the same Houston. Like I said, this isn't the same Houston.
Quietly, JJ's having a fantastic year, but he's just not talking about him like they did last year. But
they're starting to talk about him now.
He's
like leading the league in sacks again now. So they are talking about Watt again. Yeah. It's just that they had, for rightful reason, they had no reason to talk about him before.
But now they're on the move.
They were very bad. They were very, very bad before. So that's still trying to find this guy's name. It's going to bother me. This Buccaneers running back. But anyway, yeah. So I'll do like Shady McCoy, number 5 at home against Houston. Number 6, I believe he's going to be back this week. Some people still have him as questionable, up in the air. Devontae Freeman. He was unstoppable early in the year. If he does come back this week and play, it's a good matchup against Tampa at home. So I'm pretty confident he's going to play. So I might let that play there. Number 7, Todd Gurley, starting to drop down the rankings. Obviously, I don't think it's his fault. So the fact that his team is really bad and he has no, it's not lost. It's his fact that his quarterback.
I'm going to say the whole team.
Yeah, the whole team did. Yeah. The fact that I think it's the fact that his quarterback is Nick Foles and
Foles,
garbage like that, and whoever they're trotting out there for 1 week. The concussed guy,
whoever walks,
Case Keenum. So yeah, that's the reason that the receivers are getting shot.
Was he Arena Bowl guy?
No, he's not. I don't think anyone from Arena is like playing anymore. But I still like Gurley in general, although he does have a tough matchup playing against Arizona. So he's dropping down the rankings a little bit. Number 8, Thomas Rawls at Minnesota. Obviously, great situation, tough matchup, but he's gonna get the carries. Big Rawls guy.
Nah, I got.
No, I thought you had a comment.
I got a couple questions for you coming at the end of this list.
That's fine. Number 9, new entry because he just he's a brand new job. David Johnson. Hope you went and picked him up, by the way.
David Johnson
from Arizona. He took Chris Johnson's job. Chris Johnson is out.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, he was taken before me. I was on the bottom of the list of collecting the.
So
I knew that was gone.
If you were checking our waiver pickups on Twitter, you would have saw that David Johnson was the man to get. So he's already top 10 back. He's number 9. I think he already has like 7 touchdowns this year. Anyway, he's always getting whenever he did touch the ball, he was scoring. He was barely ever getting it. He had to make it happen every time he touched it. So he finally gets the job to himself here. So I like the shot this week. Number 10, Mark Ingram at home against Carolina. Tough matchup.
He's got a little red next to him. He's got a Q.
He's got a Q. Yeah, Ingram.
Yeah.
He's playing.
That's the question I have for you. All my running backs have Qs next to them, except the 2 that I have that are on the same team.
Was that Gio?
No, I got CJ and
CJ and Ronnie. I knew you always had
Ronnie's got an R. He's not an R. He's got a Q next to him now.
You'll get some of his names later in the list. But yeah, Mark Ingram. He's been good despite how inconsistent the Saints have been. So I like Ingram again. Each of the last 2 games he's gotten less than 10 carries.
Once again, the Q don't mean shit.
Tom Brady was Q for like 3 years at one point.
Your nickname was Q.
Yeah, every week he was on the injury report. He had nothing wrong with them.
The IR means you're done.
Yeah, if you have an O, I came out O. If you have O, then I'm scared about that. But so I do like Ingram at home against Carolina. At least he could do something. Number 11, Darren McFadden. Romo's out. They're gonna have to get the ball to him more. I mean, it's gonna be ugly in Dallas. But they're playing Washington. Well, yeah, now we know there's no light at the end of the tunnel.
No,
there's no Romo's walking through that door. It's not happening. It's the Matt Castle show, and it's going to be some low ratings for that show. Darren McFadden. The show's probably going to get canceled soon. Let's go with the TV punts. Yeah, Darren McFadden at Washington. I think the fact that they're playing Washington, this is a big chance for them to spoil Washington's first place divisional dreams. Number 12, I like Matt Forte at home against San Francisco, mainly because of his matchup. He's still going to be splitting touches with Langford. Langford's really digging into his touches. They're kind of weaning Forte back in.
That's what I was going to bring up to you, Langford. He's out there.
He's out there. I'd leave him. I mean, it depends on who you have else, but I would leave him. He's not like a guy you're going to go run out and grab and start.
I got a free spot.
Maybe a free spot. Why not? I mean, I'm always an advocate of no free spots.
I mean, Chris Johnson's gone. I need to fill him in somewhere. Yeah,
so that's where you should have. That's where you should have pulled up David Johnson.
But unfortunately, he was gone by the time I got the pick.
Yeah, I'm sure he was. I believe. No, I'm sorry. I'm sure he was because he was the trendy pickup this week. So, you got a question?
Well, it's either Alfred Morris.
No,
he's playing Dallas this week.
I don't care. It's Alfred Morris.
Yeah, he gets carries, but I mean, still he don't get the end zone. Yeah, so I pretty much. I guess my question, running back, do I play both those guys from Denver? I mean, they both had good games.
Can.
I mean, against San Diego.
Depends on who else you have, but you can get away with that. I obviously wouldn't recommend starting 2 running backs from the same team.
Based on the court, well, yeah, I won the league anyway as far as
oh my God,
what you call it. But I don't have, I'm just looking to see it in the playoffs. Is that something to be smart about? 2 running backs on the same team, but with that quarterback situation, although he's looking,
it's a good matchup. Good, yeah. San Diego stinks. It's a good matchup,
and they quit.
And I finally found the running back I was thinking. It was Bobby Rainey. Was, by the way, who was their starting running back last year. That was bothering me so bad. He was awful. But yeah, he was the guy. He was out touching Doug Martin. That's how low he fell. That's how low he fell at one point. Yeah, that was just a year ago. He was getting out touched by Mike James and Bobby Rainey. Now he's up number 2 running back in football. At least for this week. At least my rankings.
I think Junior once told me he's going to be a stud.
Who? Doug Martin?
Rainey?
No, Rainey's not going to be a stud. There's 2 right now. There was another Rainey from Florida. It was not. This was the Western Kentucky Rainey. They're both equally as bad. Number 13, Fat Eddie's back in the rankings. Fat Eddie Lacy. He ran for 100 yards last week. Apparently got his job back. How many guys have gotten jobs and lost jobs and
It's what he eats. Who knows?
It's crazy. I don't know what's going on, but I might like it at least for this week. He's coming off a 100-yard game, so at least he has something to build off of. I'm not just throwing a dart at the wall. Number 14, Buck Allen, clear cut number 1. He's at Miami. Miami formerly had a bad run defense. I think that they're against the Eagles. It is what turned them around. They've been solid since then. But yeah, so I like Buck Allen though to put some points up. He'll score a touchdown probably. Number 15, Spencer Ware. Charkandrick West is supposed to be back. I've seen some people have Ware as their top back. Some people have West as the top back. Odds are they're both going to play and they're both going to get touches. I just think, obviously Ware is the healthier one. He's the fresher one. He's come off the 100-yard game. So I like Ware. They're playing Oakland, by the way, in case you're wondering. So there's a positive there. Number 16, Chris Ivory at the Giants. I mean, you can move on the Giants. It's possible. Ivory's been a little slower in the second half of the year as it was in the first half, but he's still, again, clear cut, and he's playing a weak defense. So give Ivory a shot. Here you go, Cashy. Number 17 for you, C.J. Anderson at San Diego. It's a good matchup, playing a bad team, bad defense. And he was the man last week. Scored a walk-off touchdown. He had his – did he have 100 yards?
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a good game altogether.
What, a 38-pointer day for him.
Was it 38 points?
Yeah.
Jesus. I had him on my bench. Started Hillman. Hillman scored, though. And it's funny because actually, I'll get to it in a second. Number 18 is DeMarco Murray at New England. I don't like much about him, except the fact that he'll probably catch another 6 or 7 swing passes, probably 6 catches for 20 yards total, because that doesn't go anywhere. Don't tell Chip that.
Right.
He still loves that play. But you know what? It's PPR. There you go. It's 60 yards rushing and there's 6 swing passes. Number 19, Lamar Miller. Got the talent, all the talent in the world. They're just not feed him enough, but he does get to Baltimore this week. That's a chance to put some points up. And finish up with number 20, Charkandrick West. Here he is at Oakland. Like I said, I think they're both going to get touches. So I have no problem starting either one of them. Sleeper this week, Sean Drone from the Niners has actually looked pretty solid in his time. I can't believe I'm saying that. But he plays Chicago. Like I said, obviously Chicago has been better, but it's still Chicago. I think that the opportunity is still there to put up some points. My sleeper last week was Duke Johnson. He had 10 points. I mean, for a non-top 20 to 30 running back, it's fine. Not crazy about it. Kind of thought I expected him to do a little more than that. My bust running back this week is Latavius Murray at home against the Chiefs. The Oakland Raiders haven't looked very good. Murray hasn't been good in the past 3 or so games, and he plays a really good defense who is fighting for the playoff spot. So I don't think Murray's gonna have a good game. So I think there. Yeah, last week I had Ronnie Hillman as my. It's funny. I had Ronnie Hillman as my bust of the week last week, just because of the matchup. With Anderson cutting into his targets or carries, and I still started Hillman. Unfortunately, in my other league, he got 12.9 points. So I was okay with it in my league, but as a bust, I prefer my guys to get less than that. So I'm not going to consider that a good hit there for Hillman. Although he did lose his job, so maybe that counts as a good bust pick. I don't know. On the wire, I got a couple guys for you. Obviously, David Johnson. Everyone knows I went out and grabbed. This guy we just saw completely carve up the Eagles on Thanksgiving, pun intended. Theo Riddick, he killed us in the backfield. And like I said, PPR, and he caught 7 catches at the backfield. Doesn't rush the ball too much, but Theo Riddick is in a solid play. Also out there, if you're pretty deep.
You like Theo Riddick against Green Bay?
Yeah, I'm fine with Theo Riddick. Why? Is he a free agent?
Yeah, he's sitting there.
I'm fine with Theo Riddick. I like him better than I like Langford.
I can't. It's not letting me take Langford. I guess he was dropped today. So
yeah, he's probably still on waivers.
So he's done.
Late for a waiver pick because Ahmad Bradshaw is out for the season now. That was a quick 1-week turnaround for him. So Boom Heron, and apparently Frank Gore is just on fumes right now. He's nothing left in the tank. So Boom Heron is apparently back in the fold in Indy. So if you're really desperate, you can go with Boom.
The Boomster. So you did mention Mark Ingram against Carolina. I was up at the top, right?
Yeah. I have him at number 10, I believe.
10, yeah.
Ingram's been good.
Yeah.
I mean, look at his numbers. Even though the team has been very consistent.
Carolina's undefeated, man. They're playing so good,
Yeah, obviously, like I said, the matchup isn't good. Usually, I have Ingram as more in the 5 to 6 range.
Right. He's not going to get 3 touchdowns.
No, he's probably not going to get 3 touchdowns. Yeah. Not against that defense. He's not. Yeah. Going over to receivers at this point. Receiver number 1, Antonio Brown, back on top. Yep. He's got his quarterback back. He's got a solid matchup back. So I do like Antonio Brown as my number one guy this
Number
week.
2 is
What?
Got to be Jeffries.
No,
in San Francisco.
it's not Jeffries.
No, Jeffrey.
Oh,
you need
it's
S's, man. I
singular.
throw S's on everything. Don't you know that by
That's
now?
not a good thing to do. That's just because you pronounce it. Just because you always pronounce something incorrectly. It doesn't mean I'm good.
Pleurisy.
There's only one guy, unless you have Greg Jeffries, the former Philly.
But you know what I'm talking about. That's what's key.
So I call him Antoine Brown. Is that fine?
Browns with an S.
Antoine Browns. Oh, you know I meant Antonio.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You get it wrong, I'm going to correct you. That's what I do. I'm a stickler for being right. God forbid.
We all know that.
God forbid. Number 2, I like DeAndre Hopkins, not Jeffries. I like DeAndre Hopkins at Buffalo. Buffalo's starting to turn on their boy Rex.
Yeah. Listen, it's just a matter of time with Rex. He'll get us.
He's all about the Hollywood spotlight.
Yeah, well, it's
There's the fact that the team isn't very good.
Well, Buffalo's a tough town. There's nothing to do there.
There's the fact that Tyrod Taylor's a quarterback. That could maybe be it. Buffalo's not a tough town.
I know.
Is that sarcasm?
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Buffalo doesn't know about their football team except on Sundays, and that's it. And here's the thing: there's nobody else to talk about in Buffalo. The hockey
got
team
the Sabres.
Just getting to that. It's not as bad as it is in Philly, but it's getting there.
No, I don't know. I couldn't tell you anything about the Sabres other than the fact they play hockey.
Yeah.
Number 3, Odell Beckham Jr. At home against the Jets. I mean, he's lights out.
That's going to be a game.
It is a tough game. Revis missed last week, so he's a little banged up. I don't know if he's going to play or not, but Odell doesn't really matter who he's going up against. He's that good. He really is that good, and it's a shame. Yeah. Eagles could have had him. Number 4, Julio Jones at Tampa Bay. I don't like the Falcons. I don't like them at all.
They fell apart.
But he continues to get targets, and targets are the most important thing in fantasy football. Literally is the most important thing. You could be the best receiver in the world, but if you get 3 targets, what are you going to do with it?
Did they win those games because he was hot the first 6 games of the season?
But he's still been equally as hot, really. I mean, obviously not as hot as the first 3 because he was unbelievable those first couple of games. I'm going to try to pull up his numbers real quick.
Figured the quarterback out fast. That's all.
Julio Jones has been. It's not. You said it's not like he's not been getting targets, not been getting points. Looking at his numbers. I mean, last week wasn't great because, like I said, I didn't like his matchup at all against Minnesota. The week before that, 15 targets, 9 catches, 160 yards. Before that was a bye week. Before that, 17 targets, 10 catches, 137 yards. Right. Week before that, 13 targets, 12 catches, 162 yards, and a touchdown. So he's been getting as many targets as he could possibly handle as of late. So he's still a top guy. It's just the team is just so bad. Maybe they lost Freeman. Freeman was hurt for a couple games. Maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe it had the fact to do with that they're just not that good of a team. So maybe the fact that they just they blew their load early. Figuratively, hopefully. Number 5, Calvin Johnson. Again, we know what he did last week. Yeah, he just showed that's what I'm saying. Why haven't they been doing that? Just throw the ball to Calvin. Why was it so hard to do?
Well, he had 3 guys on him. He still caught the ball.
That's what I'm saying. But it's not like he can't do this. He can do this against any. I feel like at any given time.
You know what? I'll tell you what. Well, here's the thing. He had time to throw. That's key.
We had no pass rush.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. And that's something that he had.
How much time do you really need to call hike and throw a ball in the air? That's all you need to do for Calvin. Just throw it in the air.
Every day prior to the Eagles, he was having a whole stuff.
I know.
Stafford's had a whole lot of problem doing that.
Yeah, but Calvin looks like he's back. Like I said, Green Bay is not some kind of and there's no shutdown corners that are going to silence Calvin. He's going to continue to do Calvin things. Number 6, AJ Green. Saw a matchup against Cleveland. Cleveland's they're in a mess right now. And AJ Green and the Bengals are hot. They're going to continue to do good. I can't see him not getting 7+ catches and 90 yards, maybe touchdown. Number 7, Brandon Marshall. He went off last week and he gets the Giants in a fake road game. So I do like Brandon Marshall as a really, really good upside. I think he could finish to maybe top 3 or so. If they actually give him the ball enough. Number 8, Jarvis Landry. He actually had the best game of his career last week. I think 169 yards, something like that. And he gets Baltimore as a reward. So I like Jarvis Landry. And the fact that he still returns, I don't know why, but he still returns kicks or punts or both. I don't know what he does. Not too many number 1s do it. He does it. And that's just extra points here and there.
Yeah, nobody else. Number
9. You're all right. Here's your boy Jeffries. Alshon Jeffrey, number 9 at home against San Francisco. Great matchup through and through. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. The game is in Chicago. So the fact that it's a home game could be a negative. Who knows? You never know what the weather's going to be there. So it may affect it. But Yeah, that's another thing actually. What did I want to say? Oh, I was talking to one of our frequent. This is off the fantasy football topic real quick. To Joey, one of our frequent call-ins and tweeters, Joey, because he was asking me about some bets. He was looking at some of your plays, and he asked me because he knows I know college. So he asked me about the over in the TCU Baylor game, and this is like early in the day. This is like 9 and 10 a.m. And it was like 74. And TCU and Baylor, we all know that's points.
Yeah.
So I was like, that over 100 points wouldn't be enough. I didn't know this. I think he did take the over or something like that. I'm not sure, but this is why weather matters. I don't know if you saw that game at all. The torrential downpour, and it finished with a total of like 30 points. Like it wasn't even
rain was so much worse than snow. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's so much worse. So I mean, weather can play a factor in any of these guys. But that's what I'm saying. It's crazy how much that's a game where there should have been 100 points easy, and then to being 35 points. I don't know what the final score was, but it was ugly. It was like 23-20 or something stupid, because of just horrible weather. So I don't know what Chicago's going to be like on Sunday. I'm not a meteorologist. I haven't looked at it. So Jeffrey could be much higher, could be much lower.
Should have been on my hockey plays last night.
Should have been on your hockey. How'd you do?
2-0.
2-0?
Took them both. Yep.
There you go. You're hot. You're back on the horse.
Even lost the game, but got enough goals in the Calgary game.
That's all that matters. Yep. And number 10, round out the top 10, I have Allen Robinson at Tennessee. Allen Robinson's been consistent. He scores every week at this point. And Alan Hearn's a little banged up, so I think he's going to be getting all the targets he can handle from Blake Bortles. Number 11, Danny Amendola. I expect him to play, and if he plays, that's all that matters. That's the only thing is if he doesn't play, obviously you forget about it. But if he plays, easy start. You can't not start him against this defense.
You can limp him and then still catch balls against
him. Exactly. Number 12, I have Larry Fitzgerald at St. Louis. Like I said, he's got a red hot quarterback. He's got a red hot team, and he's a top target. So that's recipes for, and he gets a dome for his troubles in St. Louis. Number 13, Eric Decker. Quietly like a top 15 receiver. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I can look up in a second. He's having such a good season, and nobody knows about that. Every week, 80 yards, a touchdown. So he never has those games that 11 for 180s. He doesn't do that, but he scores every week and he gets you 80 plus yards. So I'm fine with that. Number 14, Des Bryant. I'm sad he lost his quarterback for my fantasy purposes. But
so make him worthless.
I mean, I don't know how much time he's had with Castle though.
Yeah, I guess it depends on who they're playing. Yeah,
when he was back, obviously you'd prefer to have Romo there, and he had a really bad game last week.
He's playing the Redskins, right?
He plays the Redskins.
Okay, and they think they're in contention for Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Now.
That's why I have. Sadly, they are. But then again, some Cowboys fans still think they are too. So who knows? So I like Dez as a good, a wide receiver 2 this week. He's not wide receiver 1, which he normally would easily be. Another guy dropping down my rankings just because maybe he's just not in favor, or the quarterback's not in favor of him, but Demaryius Thomas. Down to number 15, by far the lowest I ever had him. I don't even have Emmanuel Sanders on this list, which is funny because as bad as Manning was, those two were always up there.
Yep.
But I think the fact that Osweiler spreads the ball around more, they're running the ball better now, and Broncos seem to do that towards the end of the year. They always seem to start running the ball better, taking the focus off the receivers and quarterbacks. Number 16, T.Y. Hilton. I never liked him. I never like him at all. But he's playing at Pittsburgh. I almost put Moncrief in the spot ahead of him, but he's still a top target. And I said you can throw on Pittsburgh. So I'm just gonna give Hilton another shot here, although I'm not crazy about him or that play. Number 17, Jeremy Maclin at Oakland. Maclin, how would you like to have him back?
Yeah, sure would. I would have paid him that money.
Yeah,
it was cash.
Looking good.
Yep.
He gets Oakland this week, so that's a solid play right there. Big Maclin guy this week. I think he's gonna have a nice game.
I have his quarterback. I picked him up just to put him on the roster.
You don't need to do that. I can assure you don't need to do that.
Well, my gang's in the playoffs. I'm facing Denver and Carolina in week 17 and
Alex
16.
Smith should not be your go-to. He shouldn't be.
He's not my go-to at all. I mean, I put him on
the
roster.
Playoffs. Yeah.
Well, I'm worried about that Denver game.
I can find you somebody better. I'll search it after this.
David Carr.
there you go. You got it.
I got Carr.
Well, no. You started saying Derek. Can you change it back to David?
It should be Derek.
Yes, it is Derek. But you changed it to David again.
I had Derek, didn't I?
Jesus, it's like 6 weeks in a row.
I'm still sitting on Manning too, but he's so
You still have Peyton Manning?
No, I have Eli, but you don't know what you're getting with this guy every week, man.
You're not going to call Eli Manning. Like I said, I have him number 9.
Terrible fantasy football player, man. He really
is because the game you bench him with the game he goes off
every time,
4 touchdowns
every time,
and that's the worst kind of person to have.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd rather take a guy who just like for instance, like Drew Brees. Yeah. Like I'd rather have a guy obviously he's better, and
care less he wins or loses the game. It's just a matter of what he can put.
But yeah, like I said, like just I don't care if he throws 2 picks. I really don't.
Here's the difference: when the Giants lose, Eli has a shitty game, and he doesn't have a good game, and they win. It just doesn't happen. That's not.
Eli is always capable to throw for 4 touchdowns, but Eli is also always capable to throw for 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Yeah, always.
I'm feeling that sometimes, but.
And if he gets a bad first quarter, you see a stupid look in his face. It's just like, oh no, this is gonna be one of the 3 pick games.
David Carr playing this week?
David Carr is not playing football professionally.
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr.
I was gonna call Carr. Just keep myself.
David Carr is playing Kansas City. It's a very tough matchup for him.
Yep.
So I don't like David Carr. Now you got me saying I don't like Derek Carr.
So it looks like I'm gonna have to Eli against the Jets.
Yeah, that's a play.
Yeah, gotta be Jets.
That's a play. Number 18, another Clemson boy. He just absolutely went off last week. Sammy Watkins. Like 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he's getting hot again. He's getting healthy. He's playing Houston. Again, I don't know what to make of Houston. That old defense could show up at any moment and give up 44 points to the Dolphins or 50 points to the Dolphins, whatever it was. Number 19, another guy I'm not too crazy about because he's been real hit or miss. It's Randall Cobb, but he's still the top target. Gets Detroit, gets the Dome, and he gets Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. So again, you're going to start him because you probably draft him to be your top receiver. You're not just going to bench him, but you're not crazy about it anymore. Number 20, Michael Crabtree, and that's at home against Kansas City. Like I said, tough matchup, but Crabtree has been a better option than Amari Cooper this year, especially as of late. He seems to score. I think Cooper has like 2 touchdowns, which is crazy to me that he only has like 2 touchdowns with how good he's been. Sleeper pick of the week. This is gonna be a little interesting. Jordan Matthews. That reasoning is because I can't see them. They can't be running the ball later than 10 minutes into the game. After that, I feel like it's gonna be one of those 50 attempt, 60 attempt games, and somebody's got to catch it. Although, granted, it could be the Patriots catching a lot of them.
Yeah,
but I just think, I saw him on some rankings. I think Matthew Barry had him like 40. That's a little low. In a
Bradford's
PPR,
back, so
So again, it's a risky play, obviously, because he's very liable to do nothing, as the whole team is.
Bradford's capable of throwing the ball forward.
But then again, look at last week. The last 2 games were 2 blowouts, so he should have had a lot of garbage points, and he didn't. So I don't know what to make. I think this is a time where you can roll the dice with him.
No time to throw. That's been whatever. That's don't waste your time.
Right? My bust receiver of the week. I just noticed a guy I didn't have on the list, and it wasn't because I forgot him. It's just I didn't see him in any rankings. I'm not crazy about his matchup. It's Mike Evans. He's not my bust of the week, though. Though Mike Evans is a guy I think just like 2 weeks ago has like a top 3 receiver. But just the matchup, I don't know. I don't know. He's playing Atlanta. I don't have Mike Evans. I'm not a big Mike Evans matchup this week and everything about him. That's not my bust. My bust of the week, which is ironic because I said how I made a mistake picking against the Eagles last week. My bust this week is Brandon LaFell, who is playing the Eagles.
Right.
It's not because I think LaFell could have a good game. He could. Obviously, he's playing the Eagles. Anybody could.
He's got concrete hands.
He's got horrible hands. And just the fact that I think people are buying into the fact that Amendola is maybe banged up, Gronk's out. He's going to kill it now. I don't think that's not the way it works in New England. It's not that next man up thing. Like it could be some guy who's on the practice squad who will catch 8 balls this week, and not LaFell. LaFell's always seems to be there. Guys keep getting hurt, and he doesn't get any better.
Chandler up the middle.
Yeah, I love
all
Chandler
day long.
If we did tight ends, I'd have him as a top 3 to 5 tight end.
All week long. He's got
Brandon LaFell. The reason I say that because I saw, I think it was Carabell or one of he had LaFell's like number 12 receiver. I'm like, you're insane. Look at our top 12 guys of Landry, Jeffrey, Robinson, Green, Marshall. Right. These are guys not that 12, the 8 to 12 range. Do you think LaFell's gonna have a better week than any of those guys? That's insane to think. So I think it's a bust from what people are expecting out of him. I still think he could have a solid game. Nothing great. Nothing that's not a top 15 game. That's for sure. He's not good enough. and I don't think Brady likes him enough.
Maybe they get 5 inches of snow, 10 inches of snow this weekend changes everything.
Who knows? I haven't checked. Yeah, exactly.
Changes the whole game.
Again, I haven't checked the weather reports on that one. Last week, my sleeper pick of the week, I took a swing and a miss. Took Nate Washington playing a crappy Saints defense.
I had him twice already.
Yeah.
Take him back.
And the thing is, I don't like Nate Washington. That's usually a guy where if I'm playing somebody and he has Nate Washington, I'm like, yes. He's got a scrub.
I picked him twice because of my injury list. I needed somebody just in case.
Well, I figured playing against New Orleans, everybody's been lighting him up.
Except me.
And they won the game, but he didn't do anything. But no, it was Nate Washington. Who did I got? Sorry, I think I was completely wrong on Nate Washington. I saw his game. I'm pretty sure I picked him because he was playing New Orleans, but they didn't win that game, did they? Or did they lose it? Oh, Nate Washington. Yeah, they did. They won that game against.
He had 3 catches.
Yeah, they completely. That's right. He did play New Orleans. I was right, but he completely blew them out. For whatever reason, for 2 seconds, I thought he still played for Tennessee.
No,
that's how irrelevant he is. He's on Houston, and I just liked him as the number 2 option behind Sammy. Yeah, he didn't. I think against New Orleans, it's gonna be a shootout with points on both ends. Really, he only had 3 catches for 43 yards, so that's why he gets the 7 points. So I didn't hit that one. But again, like I said, I wasn't good on receivers last week, Cashy. I told you before the show, actually as the show went off, that my bust receiver was Golden Tate because
I had my worst week last week. I lost, and I scored 67 points. Everybody had a queue, and I lost. The whole team went down. And now all of a sudden it's all gone. Everybody's back except for Chris Anderson, who is going to be
Chris Anderson. There's no such person as Chris Anderson. Chris Johnson. Okay, you're mixing up CJ and Chris. That's fine.
This is why I don't do this show. This is why you bring a partner and I do the other clown show.
I just thought Nate Washington was on Tennessee for a second, so I haven't any room to talk. Waiver wire this week. Doug Baldwin is on the receiving end of every touchdown pass that Russell Wilson seems to throw anymore. If he's still there,
I had him. I let him go. It's
like, but it's fine too. That's fine. At the time, it was. Yeah. I wouldn't want Doug Baldwin.
I'm just saying. I see him. I look up, and then
sorry,
he's not a fantasy player. You
can't
count on him.
You definitely can't count Doug Baldwin. Again, it's another guy where if the guy you're playing as Baldwin in his lineup, you're thinking, sweet. That's one that's not a top target, and of course he'll get 2 touchdowns. Waiver wire also like Devontae Parker. Rashard Matthews is out in Miami, so Devontae Parker, who was a first-round pick, is finally getting some catches. Last 2-3 games, he's had solid games. Scored his first career touchdown last week. I think at the 80 yards. So look for them to. Their season's over, so why not continue to throw the ball to the rookie? And finally, Dontrell Inman from San Diego. Like I said, they need to throw the ball to somebody. I'm pretty sure he had a touchdown. I know he had a touchdown. I think he might have even had 2. But Inman had a solid week last week against San Diego. There was some guy who had a random great game for Oakland, the Seth Roberts guy. In my opinion, you can completely ignore him. He had 100. He had 130 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Future.
You can completely ignore him. I think it was a complete anomaly. I don't think it's ever going to happen again. That's what we got for receivers. I said that some guy tweeted me his lineup, Cash. I want to see what you think about this team. See if we can pull the whole picture here. I guess is this his bench? What are his starters? All right, so his team. Let's see what you think. Quarterback Marcus Mariota, running back Buck Allen.
Well, did you say who they playing? Who's Mariota playing?
Mariota's playing Jacksonville. Buck Allen at Miami. Thomas Rawls at Minnesota. Wide receiver. Wait, what kind of league is? Wait, what? This is a league where you start one receiver.
Never heard of that before.
I've never heard of that before.
That's dangerous.
In such a throwing
is there
world.
A flex in there?
He have a flex, yeah. And here's the craziest part: his flex is another running back, so he just has one receiver. I've never seen that before.
Well, it must be 10 points. Must be a winner that week.
This is an interesting league. I actually want to hear. I want to hear
tough,
more.
Man.
I want to hear more about this league. But his one receiver is DeAndre Hopkins, so it's a good receiver. Tight end Richard Rodgers. Flex is Jeremy Langford. I can't rate that.
Yeah, I don't know how.
I'm gonna say the same.
I'd have to see how the point ranks.
He has Mark Ingram on the bench.
See,
we got a call here. Let's see if it works.
I don't see it.
Does it work?
Let's see. Welcome to the Sports Goombahs.
How you doing?
Question for you guys. Well, actually, first, I heard you say earlier about say you don't think there's any arena guys left in the NFL. I think the Ravens got to return to slot field goal from the arena.
You're right.
Is he?
You're exactly right. I remember the interview that he was talking about it.
I'm sure there's some floating around somewhere.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm having a little injury problems with Deion Lewis a few weeks ago, and I'm Chris Johnson. So
Yep.
And Lynch, so I got roles though.
Yeah, you need to have roles.
Got need help with one running back and a flex to start. I have CJ Anderson, who I have in right now.
Yeah.
I also have Hillman, Duke Johnson, Jordan Matthews.
So you need one of those running backs?
I need one running back and a flex.
I would go CJ Anderson as the running back for sure. I think he's got the job back. Like I said, my sleeper receiver of the week is Jordan Matthews. I think he's got a good opportunity with Bradford coming back to catch some balls again, and they're obviously going to be throwing because they got they're going to be playing New England, so they're going to be behind.
Right.
So I think it's a risky play, but it has a good reward possibly.
I mean, this is do or die for me if I lose them out. So
No pressure.
have a little tough time this year. But I also I had Gates and Bennett as my tight ends, but I just picked up Chandler. I think I throw him in there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially against the Eagles. And he was getting the targets last week, even with Gronk still playing for a little bit.
Yeah, really.
So now, with Gronk out, and I think he had like 7-8 catches last week. I think it's at least
the game of his career.
He probably will have the game of his career.
If he's going up the middle, I can't see who's stopping him. I mean,
He was the number one waiver pick in my league.
Right. What's he, 6'5", right? That's not a target.
Yeah, I wanted to pick up David Johnson after Chris Johnson got hurt, but he was actually already on a team before Chris Johnson got hurt.
Savvy owner.
Yeah. It's like me. Stacking up on running backs in this league. That's what you have to do.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go CJ Anderson, Jordan Matthews.
You may be even able to go Gates in the flex.
Right.
That's not another option.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, anything else?
And that's all tonight.
All right, man. Yeah, let me know how you do.
Good show, guys.
All right, man.
thanks,
Appreciate it.
Talk to you.
And by the way, Scott Chandler is 6'7".
6'7".
He's 6'7".
6'7".
Yeah.
Who's gonna cover him? A limping D'Amico Ryan? I mean, who's gonna cover him? Coming across the middle.
No one's gonna cover him. I mean, that's some big potential right there. And Chandler used to be when he was back in Buffalo, he was pretty good. Yeah. Last week Chandler had 11 targets last week. And that was, he said, that was with Gronk. Gronk got hurt in the fourth quarter, so he's definitely he's gonna say all the targets in the world he can possibly handle.
Yeah.
Trying to look at see what Chandler did at his peak. 2013, 53 catches, 655 yards.
Yeah,
so.
he has 4 touchdowns this year, right?
Who?
Chandler?
He has 3.
3, yeah.
Yeah. So I like Chandler a lot. Like I said, he's a top 3 probably tight end on the week.
But he had the game. I think Gronk had 3. He had 1 between the tight ends. They had 4 touchdowns in that one game. I think it was game 1 or game 2 of the season. I think it was game
Gronk
1.
had 3. In the first game he had 3
right.
touchdowns.
Right.
That's my boy. Love you, Gronk. Pray for Gronk. Hashtag pray for Gronk.
Gronk's fine, man.
I know, man. I was literally. I was like in tears, to be honest.
He'll massage that down with a little rubber, toss it in before game time, put a Windex on that thing, and that thing will be fine. It'll be working great. Not a problem.
But it's funny, actually, because it's David Johnson. I already owned David Johnson in my other league. So, unfortunately, I didn't have my league I'm actually good in. I had in this awful, crappy league.
I don't know how my league does the free agency. Every week it's different, and you don't know when another guy goes until you see him go. And there's no time limit on this thing. So, like it says.
It doesn't say you're on waivers till X date.
No, it's all Wednesday. It starts all Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly.
And it picks up till game time, right? But it doesn't.
Whoever goes on waivers until Wednesday, then they're all just regular free agents.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, but the order that you go with, like I couldn't pick the 8 o'clock this morning because the guy in front of me didn't go, and I don't know where I was.
Does it work? That's stupid.
Yeah, it's like I was 5 of 10 this week.
Yeah, I understand that part.
So I got to wait till someone else goes before I can go, right?
No, that's not how it works.
Typically, it was in all the other leagues I played. It was always a time thing. You went from 1 o'clock to 1:30 was your chance to pick players.
I've never heard of that either.
Yeah, well, how is it?
I don't like that.
I mean, can you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and start loading up?
The way my league is, and the way the leagues I've always been in is, players are on waivers until Wednesday. You don't even really know the time frame.
Right.
It's usually like anywhere from like 3 to like 6 a.m. And if you have the third waiver claim, you put in a thing for David Johnson. If 1 and 2 don't put a claim in for him, you
that's
get
how
him.
it works. I guess that's how it works.
And if they do, they get him, and you can get the next guy. But that's the thing is, I at one point, because I thought it was gonna be the same time every week. I thought it was gonna be at the same time. So I looked. Week 1, it was 4:38 a.m. the way everyone came off waivers. So I went on like 5 a.m. picked up my whatever I needed, and went back to bed. So I set my alarm to wake me up every Wednesday at 5:37 a.m. Then I realized that it's not always the same week. So week 2, I woke up early. I was like, I looked at my phone. Everyone was still on waivers. It didn't work. They didn't come off till like 5.
Try that next week.
You should,
when
but
the queues start popping up again.
Well, especially because in my league, streaming defense is a big thing. Nobody holds on to the same defense unless you have a top one.
I've been holding on to the Packers. That's pretty much all I have.
Yeah, I actually just cut the Packers this week.
Yeah, who they playing this week? I didn't even look to see. Well,
those Detroit.
Okay, well that's good week to keep them because it's a revenge game, obviously, right?
That's what I mentioned.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in this one receiver league. I need to tweet him back and get more information on that.
That's got to be high money, high stakes, because to have the only one receiver, you got to do your homework, make sure you're.
It's not even about that. It's just weird. It has nothing to do with homework.
Well, no,
it's weird.
If you got to make sure that by game time your player's going, or you get a 0, so you got to keep on top of everything. Well, yeah,
but that. I mean, you kind of know if it's going or not.
Well, I mean, but you don't have backup.
But I'm saying that draft strategy is just like first round, go Odell, and be like, all right.
That's it.
I'm done. I don't need any more.
It's a 15-minute draft.
I was going to load up on running backs.
Sandwich and you're out of there.
Load up on running backs the rest of the way. So that is a show for you this week. This is, like I said, the week 13 edition. That should be a regular season finale. As the caller mentioned, it's do or die. It's do or die for him. It should be, hopefully it's not do or die for you. Hopefully you're like me and you're comfortably in. I got a 3-week vacation from fantasy football. Gosh, I already clinched, my first round bye 2 weeks ago. So last week I didn't care. This week I could set no lineup and be fine. Yep. And I have a first round bye next week. So smooth sailing for me.
I'm not sure if I get a bye. I should get a bye, man. 9-3. I got to check.
Before we leave, and you can let the music run for a second. Leagues where 8 teams make the playoffs and there's no first round bye for number 1 and 2 is ridiculous.
I think that's what I'm doing.
You've got to reward regular season dominance.
I think 4 teams don't make in our league, and it's 12. So you're right. It's 18.
That is not cool.
Yeah,
that's not cool because. I mean, that number 8 team, and I've been that number 8 team in my other league and snuck in there and knocked off the top team. And I wasn't even happy. Of course, I was happy about it, but I felt dirty about it. Like, I shouldn't even be here. I'm 5-7, or I'm 6-7. I shouldn't even be here. Right. Beating teams that are 11-2, worked hard all year, got nothing at the end.
That's where I'm going to be.
Not okay with that. So, hopefully, you're in a 16 playoff league, and hopefully, you are the number 1 or 2, and you're breathing easy. Week 14, we'll be here next week, but hopefully, you don't have to listen. Hopefully, you have a bye. So I hope to see the viewage down next week. That means you're listening to me all year.
There it is.
There we go. So like I said, check out every Monday.
Cash King, Mikey Wall. See us on Monday. Sports Goombahs.
Have a good night.
Good one.